Hello students, today we are going to start a practice book, a remedial course in English for colleges, book first. It is composed by B.K. Das and A. David. This book is for the remedial courses. All the students must know or must gain the knowledge about grammar because it is essential to know a language. It may be Hindi, it may be Sanskrit, English, French, Russian. The grammar is the fundamental, the grammar is the basic thing of a language. Today, we are going to start your last book, which is about grammar, and it is a remedial course. And B.K. Das and A. David especially composed it for the Indian continent, Indian subcontinent. In India, there are two types of students. First, they are taught in English medium schools, and second, they are taught by the Hindi medium or bilingual method, or can be said grammar come translation method. So, the writer and the composer of this book want to give them environment. There are stories in this book, and after the story in the easy language, and after the story, there are some exercises. These exercises help the student to know about the grammar. As the author explained in the introduction, remedial teaching has too often been identified with the reteaching of grammar. Based on teachers' assessments of common errors, college students normally find such remedial courses neither interesting nor helpful. Many of them are only painfully aware of their errors without being able to avoid them. So, to teach the students, the college students, that how we can avoid the mistakes. These remedial courses are written for the students. In colleges, there are too many faults in their scripts, in their writings. So the composer, the writer of this book start thinking about that, the situation, and then they compose this book to make sure that after reading this book, the student must aware about their faults, must aware about their errors. There may be errors of timing, there may be errors of grammar, adjective, noun, etc. All these errors are found in their writings, in their answer books, in their course books, can be said in their assessment books. So the writer want to make aware the students about these mistakes. Now, the author argue that remediations should mean extended reteaching of the language, rather than attention curiously given to a few selected areas of grammar, amounting to little more than a cosmetic operation. The way of remediate is to get the student interested in the language, primarily through exposure and the stimulate or reading. The foundation for any remedial teaching should, it is felt, be led through emphasis on the variety of language skills, most of which can be built into a good reading program. This is the principle behind the design of this course. Language work. There are 10 or 12 type of language works are given in this book. First is true and false type question. Then choose the best answer type question in the given answers, and fill in the blanks type question. Give the story a title, and then fill in the blanks, selecting suitable words out of list of below which is given in the question. Supply the words missing from the sentences, and then make at least 8 sentences from the table below. It is a good exercise for the college students. And then compose a story on giving situations, which develop the skill, the composing skill of the students. All these exercises are given in this book. And there are some grammar topics which are discussed in this book. First, parts of speech, and in parts of speech, especially the verbs, adjectives, conjunctions, determiners, and passive voice, passive verbs, active verbs, and indirect speeches, tenses, one words, antonyms, and synonym. All these topics are discussed in this book. So it is very helpful to all of you to read this book one by one. There are 8 stories in this book, and these stories are written in the simple language and all are discussed briefly in the exercises. And most important thing is composing skill. You can learn, you can develop your composing skill by using this book. This is a remedial course for your college life, for college courses. Now, we just for example, take the first unit. There is a story about a farmer and his sons. There was a farmer who had 2 sons. He was a rich man and he had a lot of land, many cows and sheep, and many servants. His sons helped him on the farm. They lived together happily, but after some years, the younger son began to feel unhappy. Though he had everything to make him happy, he no longer wanted to live in the house with his father and brother because he thought that his father has too much money and he can live easily his life, and he do not want to live with him. He didn't want to live with them. And he decided to go to the city and spend all the money. He went to his father and said, "Father, give me my share of the land and cows and sheep. I don't want to live here any longer." His father said, "My son, why do you want to leave us? Are you not happy here? Do not go." But his son would not listen him. "I will not stay," he said. So his father gave him the third part of all that he had. The son sold his share and of the land and the animals and went away to the another country or the city side. And there he spent all his money. He do not take an interest in the field or in the field of his father. So he sold all his share and went to the city. Being young and foolish, he fell into the bad habits. He wasted his money in the feasting and drinking with his friends. Soon all his money was gone and he became poor. He went to his friends, but no one of them was ready to help him now. He went away from the city and wandered round to the countryside looking for food to eat. In the end, he went to the house of a farmer and became his servants. He had to look after the farmer's pigs. And when he was hungry, he ate the food which was given to the pigs. This is a very pathetic condition of the son of the farmer. And now he realized what is the importance of the family and what is the importance of unity. Now the young man understand that he had made a big mistake, and he said to himself, "Even the servants in my father's house have enough food, but I have none. I will go back to my father and tell him that I was wrong, and I will ask him to forgive me. And though he may not keep me as his son, perhaps he may keep me as one of his servants, because the situation of servants are better than here." He got up, left the place, and returned to his father's house. When he was still far away, his father saw him. He rushed out of the house, put his arms round his son, and kissed him happily. Then he took him home. His father celebrated his son's coming, and the elder son disliked the behavior of the father. He asked, "Why are you so unjust?" His father said, "My son, you are always with me. All that I have in yours, but I have lost your brother, and I have found him again. He was dead, and now he has come back to life. That is why I am happy. Come and share my happiness." And the elder son understood what his father said. He too was happy that his lost brother had come back. This is the complete story, and it gives a message about the unity, about the family, because we live in family, and family is the essential part of our life. And the writer want to give a big message to the society, to the readers, to the college students. Now, why do this lesson is concluded in your course? Because it has a big exercise, and this is the exercise. First, which of the following sentences are true? You have read the story. Now tell which sentence is true or which sentence is false. The farmer's son did all the work on the field, and the elder son was very hardworking. The younger son did not like to work. The younger son was very unhappy because he had to do a lot of work. He asked his father to give him half of the land, cows, and sheep. So, how many of these are true? Look at that. First is false. Then, second, the elder son was very hardworking. It is true. Then, third, the younger son did not like to work. It is true. It is false because he liked to work, but he did not want to live with his father. And the younger son was unhappy because he had to do a lot of work. It is not true because he had a limited work to do. And fifth, he asked his father to give him half. It is not right because he want only his share of land and his share of cows and sheep. So, exercise second, choose the best answer out of these possible answers given. Of these possible answers given. First, the younger son was unhappy because his father did not love him. His father loved his brother more than he loved him. He wanted to live a free life. He wanted to share of the land and the cows and sheep. D is not true because he don't want to share the land and cows and sheep. He only want his share, the money of his share. His father did not love him. It is also not true. And his father loved his brothers more than he loved him. It is also not true. The C is the correct answer. He wanted to live a free life. Now, the exercise C. Fill in the blanks. Using suitable words, each blanks needs a word. The younger son asked his father for his, share of the land. It may be the true answer. If you have read the story, you can easily give the answers. The father divided all his land, cows and sheep into 3 parts and gave one part of his younger son. The younger son spent all his money on his friends. When all his money was gone, he became the poor and of a something there. When he returned to his father's house, his father to meet him. Now look at the answers. The younger son asked his father for his share of the land. The father divided all his land, cows and sheep into 3 parts and gave one part to his younger son. And the younger son spent and wasted all his money on his friends. Wasted is more important. Spent can be said a normal word. When all his money was gone, he became the servant of a farmer. When he returned to his father's house, his father rushed out to meet him. Now, the exercise D. Which of the following words would you use to describe the father? Next, the elder son. Next, the younger son. Any of the other people that you find in the story as the other farmer. Now look at the answers. The father is very loving personality. The elder son, jealous, which we see in the last stanza. The younger son is a foolish one. And any of other people that you find in the stories are the farmer whose pigs he looked after, was misery, and the old man's servant was obedient. All these characters are described and their qualities. Now the exercise second. Fill in the blanks, selected suitable words out of the list below. Our mother had to do a lot of housework, and sometimes my brother and I work with her. There are some words which will be given into the brackets, and you have to use them into the fill in the blanks. We bought 30 oranges, but some of them were bad or many of them were bad. It can be used, both the words are suitable. So we were left with 20 oranges. Srinivas was once my best friend, but he is no longer my friend. I cannot space him because he stole my watch. I cannot believe him. I cannot trust him. All these words are can be used in here. The teacher gave Karim more marks in the English test, though I had done much better. I feel he was very cunning, or can be said partial, etc. Why is there such a big crowd here today? What is the matter, or what could be the matter? Now look at the answers. Our mother had to do a lot of housework, and sometimes my brother and I share the work with her. We brought 30 oranges, but third of them were bad, or many of them were bad. So we were left with 20 oranges. The one third of 20 oranges is 10. So the third of them, or 10 of them, were bad. Srinivas was once my best friend, but he is no longer my friend. I cannot forgive him because he stole my watch. The teacher gave Karim more marks in the English test, though I had done much better. I feel he was very unjust. Why is there such a big crowd here today? What is the matter? So these are the answer of these questions. To do all these answers, we have to learn about the tenses, verbs, adjectives, prepositions, interjections, conjunctions, etc. First of all, I want to give a little introduction about the tenses. Tenses, there are two tenses in English grammar, present tense and the past tense. And there are the three times all around the world, present time, past time and future time. So for the suitability, in Indian subcontinent, we read three tenses, present tense, past tense and future tense. And tenses means the form of verb. There are two forms of verb, present forms and past form. And past participle and present participle are there, the next formation of the verb. So we can say that there are the four forms of verb. First is present form, second is past form, third is past participle, which is especially used in the passive voice sentences or the perfective sentences, and then the present participle form, which is used in the continuous or progressive situations or in the gerund type sentences. And in the present tense, there are first form is used in the present indefinite tense with the s या es in the singular formation, and with in pure condition it is used for the plural. As we can said, Sachin plays cricket. So plays is used for the singular person, and Sachin and Dhoni play cricket. It is the plural verb. When we use as the plural, we use the same verb it is given, and when we have to use the for the singular person, we use with the s or es. In past indefinite tense, there are the second form is used of the verb, past indefinite, and in future indefinite, we should use first form with the modals shall or will. There are the two verbs which are used as the helping verbs in the indefinite tense in future indefinite. And in all the continuous tenses, there should be used the fourth form of the verb, the present participle, or can be said the ing form. And there are some verbs which use as the helping verb in continuous tense. In present continuous, there is used the is, am, are, all these three verbs. And then in past continuous, was, were is used. In the future continuous, will be and shall be used. In perfective concept or perfective tenses, the third form of the verb is used, as we can say that the past participle form of the verb. And there are some helping verbs to use in these tenses. In present perfect, there is has and have. In past perfect, there is had. And in future perfect, there is shall have and will have. And in the fourth, which is less compulsory in these tenses, is perfective continuous. It is said present perfect continuous. We have to use has, have, been plus present participle form of the verb. In past perfect continuous, we should use had, been, present participle form of the verb. And in the future continuous, future perfect continuous, we should use shall have been plus present participle form of the verb. There are some example which helps you to learn about the tenses. The sun rises in the east. We should use the rises because the sun rises in the past, in the present, and will be in the future. So it present all the three times. Present indefinite mostly present all the three times. Students go to school. The sun rises in the east. The sun sets in the west. All these sentences, 2 and 2 makes 4. It is a mathematical truth. And water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It is a scientific truth. The earth is round. So all these truths are universal truths. So we use present indefinite or present simple tense for these conditions. And in the stories or in the past events, we describe all these events in past indefinite tense. Now we will discuss about the passive voices. Passive voice is also a form of verb, and when the subject is less important than the object, we use all these the passive voice. As Ram Singh kills a lion. Here the Ram Singh is important than the lion. But if we are writing about the lion is killed by the Ram Singh. Now the passive voice sentence, because the lion is more important than the Ram Singh. So we use the passive voices to describe when the subject is not important or less important. As Hindi is spoken in India, here the subject is not important because all people of India spoke Hindi. Hindi is spoken in India and English is spoken all over the world. In these sentences, subject is less important. So the passive voice have a great importance in those sentences where subject is minor importance and have no importance. And then the indirect speeches. Indirect speeches. When a sentence is told by a person, it is direct speech, and when the other person told the same sentence behalf of the person, it is called the indirect speech. And there are many types of it. You will read in the grammar books about them in detail. Now we will discuss about the third type of the sentences, which questions which are given in your course. Supply where necessary the word missing from the sentence below. Imtiaz is like a brother to me. Here the preposition to is missing. My brother does not feel happy at home. I am going to the railway station to meet my sister who is traveling space the express, and we will go space home space a taxi because she is sure to bring half a dozen suitcase space her. Now look at the answers. Imtiaz is like a brother to me. My brother does not feel happy at home. I am going to the railway station to meet my sister who is traveling by the express. We will go by there will be no preposition is used at the place. We will go home by a taxi because she is sure to bring half a dozen suitcase with her. This is a chapter of preposition. As we saw before, the express we use the preposition by. Before bus we use by bus, by train, by aeroplane, by scooter, by car. All these vehicles we should use by. But if the special vehicle is mentioned, we should use in. As in Chetak Express, in Haryana Airlines, in Kingfisher Airlines, in a blue taxi, in a blue bus, a blue line bus. All these, in all these, before all these vehicles, we should use in preposition. And by a taxi, it is right, but by a blue taxi, in a blue taxi, it is right. By a taxi is right, and in a blue taxi is the another right. And last is with suitable suitcase with her. If we have an instrument, we should use with. So this is a prepositional chapter. Now it is the last exercise of your book. Make at least 8 sentences from the table below. This is a simple exercise. We have to make 8 sentences from the table below. We have to use the farmer, the boy received, the thieves stole, my sister brought. This is the subject and the verb, and a lot of and some. These are the determiners, and then the object, and in fourth number there is a conjunction which should be applied on all the 8 sentences, and there are many and some. These are also the determiners, and servants, books, clothes, carpets, storage, and sweet. These are the objects. So look at the exercise. The farmer's land and many some servants. It's a wrong sentence, I think. The boy received a lot of land and many servants. The boy received a lot of money and many clothes. The boy received a lot of furniture and some carpets. We can make many sentences by this table. The second, the thieves stole a lot of money or some money and some sweets. The thief stole some meat and some books. The thieves stole a lot of paper and many carpets. We can make thousands of sentences with the help of this table. And the last, Tagore wrote some poetry. There is a problem because we can only use the paper and the poetry in this sentence. The Tagore wrote some poetry and many stories. The Tagore wrote some paper and many books. So we can make many sentences with the help of this table. Now I want to conclude my sentence, and I want to say that this is a remedial course book for the help of the college students, and this is the only first part, and there are so many interesting stories, and with these stories we can solve the puzzle and the questions of which are given below the access with the story, and you can you can develop the skills about just like composing skill and the grammar skill, the speaking skill, etc., etc. Have a good day.